Did you hear me? Wait, why are we in here again?
Please go.
What are you hiding in here?
The White Room is for my protection.
Protection from what?
From you, Mark.
Rudy, there's a thing in my head. You gotta get it out before Cecil finds me. Not going.
I wasn't asking.
Jesus Christ!
I told Cecil if he goes near you or Oliver or anyone else I care about, I kill him.
But why didn't you kill him already? Then you wouldn't have to worry.
Oliver!
But you just said you'd kill Cecil if
I had to make sure he took me seriously.
That's what happens when you're a bad guy.
I know you were just trying to help.
I told you to stay away from my family.
I'm just here to clean up your brother's mess.
What? I stopped them, didn't I?
Sky, now!
Isn't it responsible to make sure that the bad guys never hurt anyone else?
Life is precious. We don't just take it.
It's not precious. People kill each other all the time, and most people aren't even special like us. They're just normal.
You sound just like Dad.
So? You act like you know everything, but do you ever think that maybe Dad was right?
Okay, first things first, the trailer tricked us. They had me thinking that what they showed in the trailer was everything that's gonna be going on this season. But no, I was completely wrong. Basically, everything that happened in the trailer happened in the first 3 episodes, which is ridiculous. Cause in my head, I was thinking, how the hell did the conflict between Mark and Cecil ended up building up so quickly? Like, it felt like it reached a climax so fast. Like, I thought it was gonna be something that builds up over time throughout the season, and this was gonna be like one of the major conflicts towards the end of the season. But no, everything we seen in the trailer happened in the first 3 episodes. Like, I didn't expect the White Room scene to be in episode 1, like literally the very first episode of the season. I did appreciate the fact that in episode 2 they showcased Cecil's past, and basically he was Mark in the past in the way he thought of things, and he had someone who shared the beliefs that Cecil has right now. His former boss, what's his name? Rodcliffe?
Director?
They should be in prison or dead.
They're making up for their mistakes.
Then let me express my gratitude.
But here's what you still don't understand. You can be the good guy. Or the guy who saves the world.
Like, basically the current Cecil is like spitting the same ideology, the same thought process that his old boss had, but like back then Cecil was thinking the same way as Mark. So I wonder what happened over time throughout his responsibility as being director that caused him to like change drastically to become like his former boss. Cause even after Rodcliffe like gave Cecil his job of being director, it didn't look like Cecil like decided to like agree with what he was telling him, and like deciding that like he has to make sacrifices that go against his morality. But obviously the words of Rodcliffe stick to his head, and eventually he had to give in. I guess it's one of those scenarios where it's like it's either you die a hero or you live long enough to become a villain. I think it's one of those scenarios, and I understand Cecil's point of view. It's not like I don't. Like, I understand Mark's too, but it's like Cecil was saying, like, he has the right to be scared of Mark. Like, yes, Mark is not like his father, and Cecil knows that for now, but he's just trying to take extra precaution just in case anything happens. Like, Cecil is just the type of character that doesn't want to leave anything to chance and hope that Mark stays the way he is and doesn't become actually like his father. Because you have to remember too, like, Cecil don't have these superpowers. Like, obviously Mark is the strongest person in the world, and if he decides to kill everybody, then like literally no one could really stop him. If he truly wants to do that. So you could really see both sides. And of course, obviously I don't have to explain how you could see Mark's side, but it's just the fact that it escalated so quickly, like the Guardians splitting up because of it, everyone having their own perspective, a different reaction, being frustrated, being fed up, tired of the lies, don't know who to trust. And that's the one thing I like especially after seeing the Guardians splitting up and everything, is like it really showed like a human element to these characters, like them having feelings, built up frustration, their own morality being tested. Like everything feels like part of the human experience, where like emotions and feelings really impact people's decisions a lot of the time. Because if you think about it, in this show, like a lot of these characters, especially Mark, everybody honestly, a lot of their decision making is based on who they trust, their gut feeling, and basically their mood at the moment. Like yes, there's logic to it, but you could definitely feel that these characters gone through experiences, and depending on each individual's experience and what happened during the previous seasons dictates what decisions they make in this season. But continuing on with Mark and Cecil, this man Cecil implanted a chip, a weapon into Mark. Like this is what I mean by him taking extra precaution. That's insane. I guess in his head he's like, well, Omni-Man didn't have anything to where Cecil could really stop him, so like if Omni-Man didn't have Mark and Mark wasn't able to like fight Omni-Man, then this man would have taken over Earth right, and no one could have done anything about it. So like I was saying, you could see his perspective, because like Omni-Man has been lying for like what, 20 plus years and working with everybody, the Guardians and everything. And you have to remember too, like back in episode 1, season 1, he literally killed every single original Guardian member you know, without hesitation, once he realized it was time for him to execute his plan, his mission. So like if Omni-Man is able to lie and build trust and act like he cares about every single person on Earth for like 20 plus years, I could see where Cecil's like, well, what are the chances that this happens to Mark? You know, it might not be now, but it could be 20 years down the line, right? But you can't blame Mark either for acting this way, to act like this is completely wrong. Like, why would you do this to me? Like, especially you have to remember he's only 19. Like, this man's brain is not fully developed, or maybe it is. I don't know when vulture mice have their brains fully developed. But as we could see throughout these 3 episodes, he still have a lot of frustration. Like, he still have a lot of situations they don't know how to handle. And we're gonna get into him trying to teach his brother about life in general, not just being a superhero. But the last thing I want to say about the whole Cecil and Mark thing, I hope they're able to squash the beef before the vulture mites pull through, because literally they can't afford having a divide. They literally can't afford to have a divide on Earth, especially when they have to go against basically the strongest species in the universe. So, you know, I honestly don't see how they could squash the beef, because Cecil should know that this divide is decreasing their chances of surviving, of Earth surviving against the vulture mites. He must know that. Okay, the second thing I have to talk about, Oliver. This man has more vulture mite DNA than Mark ever had in his lifetime. This man Oliver is a menace. This man is exactly what Omni-Man wanted Mark to be back in season 1. He got the genetics, he got the clutch gene, he got what Omni-Man wanted, because this man truly thinks like a vulture mite. Did you not hear his speech? Did you not hear his explanation, his excuse for like killing the Molar twins? Like, yeah, I understand that those twins had no family, no nothing, like they really weren't doing anything good for the season. And the fact that they were lingering around for like 2 seasons and Oliver just came in and is like, yeah, you've been here long enough. It's time for you to go. Like, you've been causing trouble for like too long, for 2 seasons already. It's time for you to go. Like, the fact that this kid just took care of both of them just like that, when I was here thinking they were gonna be around for like a long time, that's crazy. But with Oliver in his speech and him saying like, oh yeah, me and you are special, like we're valuable, like nobody else really matters because they have no value, like they can't really do anything. I heard that, I was like, oh snap. Like, I know Mark had PTSD. Like, that man was traumatized. He was like, there's no way. Like, he thought he saw his father like standing in front of him right then and there. And he even stated it too. Like, he said it to Oliver, like, you sound just like dad or something. And when he said those words, I was like, oh no, there's definitely gonna be an Oliver versus Mark in the future, like either in this season or yeah, probably this season. Like, I know Oliver's gonna wake up one day and he's gonna get like 5 years older, right? So it's definitely gonna happen sooner than later. I'm curious to see like how Oliver's gonna develop, because like if you think about it, right, it took Mark until the end of season 2 to get his first kill. It took Oliver basically like his first time really out in the field and fighting to get his first 2 kills. Like he already has more kills than Mark. Like that's insane. And this man is not even like a teenager yet. So like I could see a case where like when Oliver actually grows up and like has a mature body and could fully use his powers, he's definitely not gonna be a character that holds back, or you know how Mark be holding back when he's fighting enemies. Oliver is not gonna do that. He's either you're gonna handle his full power or you're just gonna die. Like that's just how it is, and that's gonna be tough. Like Mark having to navigate that and making sure Oliver understands humanity and feelings and everything, because we have to remember too, like Oliver is not human at all. Like we have no idea how his race like acts normally, or you know what their personalities are like. You know, do they truly have like deep connections and feelings, and you know, do they act like humans at all? So that's like a factor that they don't really understand. But all we do know is that Viltrumite blood is in him. He got it. With Oliver potentially taking this path, I wonder what Omni-Man would do if he was able to see his sons again. Like, is he a changed man? Would he start believing in Mark's ideology? Because of course he's conflicted right now. He's just lost. Like he don't really know. He's in the crossroads. So like honestly, if he sees his sons again, I feel like he'll be like looking at Oliver like a little bit disappointed when he's in front of like Mark and Debbie, but like in the back of his mind he's like proud of him, like, you know, give him a little nod, like finally learned the way, my son, type of thing. So it's hard to say, but truthfully though, those are the 2 things I'm focusing on this season. I truly want to see how the Cecil and Mark rivalry beef, how that's gonna go throughout the season, as well as Oliver's development and how Mark is going to train and raise him. Those 2 storylines are definitely the most important, especially since these are key factors when it comes to when the Viltrumites pull through, you know. So the fact that we literally have no idea what's happening in the rest of the season, because literally everything that happened in the trailers basically happened in the first 3 episodes. That's insane. So we literally have no clue what's really about to happen for the rest of the season. Okay, now everything else that happened in the first 3 episodes, Mark and Eve, this man Mark almost fumbled the bag like in the first episode. Like this man really decided to tell her that like, oh yeah, your future self told me to tell you this, blah blah blah. Like come on now, it was not the time.
Remember that other you I told you about?
Yeah?
She said she always loved me. She told me I should either ask you out or shut it down forever.
So you're only asking me out now because the other me, who is not me, told you how miserable she was? Do you have feelings for me before you met her?
Eve, I mean, of course.
Or are you only here because you feel sorry for me?
But other than that, like I think I said it last season in one of the videos I made. It was probably like the one when the future Eve confessed her feelings. I literally stated like, well, you know, when 2 superheroes get together, like usually there's a higher chance of success than when it's like a regular human and a superhero that gets together. And us obviously is because they both understand each other's lives and they both have a double life. So it's like that greater understanding kind of decreases the amount of conflict or the amount of excuses that you have to make, because of course the other person understands fully. So hopefully this relationship works out. It was crazy that like Eve ran into Amber already. I don't know how long it's been since Mark and Amber broke up, because I thought it was pretty fast that they both moved on. Like truthfully. Another thing to talk about is Mark's improvements, right? They opened the trailer. They opened season 1 with him in his training arc, him grinding, locked in, getting stronger, made major improvements, everything. But yet the first major villain he faced in episode 1, he couldn't do nothing about it and he got destroyed. Like
You're not supposed to be this tough. You're not supposed to.
Things change.
Like I get it, like everyone was captured and everything, and he was worried about Eve, and that was distracting him while he was fighting, and there was like a lot of enemies that were after them. But still though, that can't be the first thing we see when you're in actual combat after hearing about like the 90-day training arc. Like I seriously can't tell if he really got a lot better, a lot stronger. He definitely changed mentally though, and I think that's mainly because of Oliver. He's like, his brain like matured 10 years. Like he really acts like like a father figure, you know? Like, did you see how he pulled up after Oliver killed the two guys and he saw Cecil talking to Oliver? Like, this man was moving crazy. But yeah, but like I was saying though, like, there should be no more fraudulent moments with Invincible. Like, that should not be a thing anymore, especially with these improvements. And next thing about Mark, he still questions his responsibilities and like how he could do this and that, and like he loves to talk about, you know, all his problems. That's one thing I noticed, especially to the people he has relationships with. And I'm here thinking, when he said the words like, oh, how can I be a boyfriend, a son, a brother and everything, and a hero, I'm here thinking like, man, you had it worse last season. Like, last season you had college, you had Amber, you had your brother, you had your mom, your father was freshly on your mind, you were even weaker back then, and like you didn't know when the Vulturemites were coming. Like, back then you really had not much of any hope at all in facing the Vulturemites if they decided to attack at any moment. So like, honestly, he was worse off last season. But that's probably just the 19-year-old element in his character, like giving you a reminder that he's still young and he's still going through experiences, and he is like still half human after all. So he needs an outlet to express his feelings and what he's going through, which is one thing I've noticed. Like, yes, Oliver expresses his feelings and everything, but one thing I've noticed is like, and this might be a Vulturemite thing, because you remember how he wasn't really apologetic for like killing those villains like the Molar twins, and he just like came up with excuses to justify it. I literally made a video with about Omni-Man doing the same thing or something similar when he was justifying to Mark the fact that like he went to another planet and like had a whole other family, and he never apologized for everything he done on Earth and abandoning his family. You know, I just starting to see the patterns here, so we'll see. Oliver definitely has the personality of a Vulturemite, because I was thinking like Mark is the type to really share his feelings, you know, have emotions, he apologizes, he has empathy and stuff. And then I was thinking about Oliver, I was like, yeah, Oliver shows his emotions, but I never really seen much empathy from him at all, or you know, he never really learns from his mistakes. He just accepts that he makes a mistake and then he like moves on to do the same thing again, which is what kids do, but like is also what Omni-Man does a lot too. So that's why I was thinking like there's a correlation. Now with the Guardians splitting up, I don't know if this is really gonna become a bigger issue in the future. It probably is. I just don't know how that's gonna develop, because I'm assuming they're gonna run into each other, like especially when missions are happening and big emergencies are happening. There's definitely gonna be a conflict where both teams are gonna run into each other, and like the one doesn't want to cooperate with the other, so that's gonna cause like somebody to get hurt, or the team just failing the mission, or maybe even someone dying. So we'll see what happens there. And with Alan and Omni-Man, is like Alan is basically, he's just there to give Omni-Man the courage to leave, to escape, to go help out his family. Like, they're really there just becoming great friends, like cracking jokes, thinking one is gonna die, like Alan teasing that he actually cares about him, like, you know, just being prison buddies really. And I think Alan's gonna obviously Alan's gonna play a major role in Omni-Man's future decisions and his new mindset and what he decides to do, of course, obviously, because as we see, like Omni-Man is slowly developing feelings the way he cares about others more. He's caring more and more about other people. Now this is crazy. Was the budget low or something, or like, I don't know, they spent so much time in episode 3 with these two guys. I don't know if they were like siblings, I don't know if they were together, but like they literally gave them 0 voice acting. That's insane. I don't know if that's disrespectful. I mean, they did have a lot of screen time, but I'm just trying to understand. I'm assuming since they were going against Oliver, like they're showing, you know, villains and what they go through and why they do what they do. And of course Oliver doesn't care. Like, he just see you do something bad and he's like, you should die. So I guess it's just to show that you know, villains have reasons of why they do stuff, and it's just to show how much Oliver doesn't care about that, about what they've been through in life and how they ended up doing what they do. I'm assuming that's part of the reason, but damn, the fact that they had no voice acting, I was like, what is going on? I thought if it wasn't for the music, I would have thought my TV was muted or something. But yeah, but now with everything that happened in the trailer basically being shown in the first 3 episodes, it's hard to predict what's gonna happen next. We don't know the Vulturemites' next move. We don't know if Oliver is really gonna change. Obviously we found out that someone's watching watching Mark and his family, and that's probably gonna be the next conflict, but it's really hard to know what's gonna happen next. And that's really one of the things I like about Invincible. They know how to keep the show unpredictable, truly. But we'll see. You let me know your thoughts on these 3 episodes. What are some things that you found interesting from the first 3 episodes? What you are looking forward to seeing in this season? Oliver's development is definitely the number one thing I'm looking forward to seeing, because that's literally gonna tip the balance of their chances against the Vulturemites, like 100%. He's literally the number 1 draft pick right now, like the rising star. So we'll see. So yeah, let's have a discussion in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.